So let's see the 7 facts of Married Women Property Act. The fact 1. So the Married Women Property Act 1874, it was created to protect the properties owned by women from their relatives, creditors, and even from their husbands. Let's see the fact 2. It says that the Section 6 of Married Women Property Act covers the life insurance products. Fact 3. Any married man can take life insurance policy under Married Women Property Act. The fourth fact. Now, each policy is considered as an automatic trust, and there is no need to create separate trust under the Trust Act. Fifth fact. Now, in case of death claims, policy proceeds cannot be claimed by debtors, nor it will form a part of the estate of the deceased. So we can say, in life insurance under Married Women Property Act, the welfare of wife and children is protected with the utmost care. Now, what you need to do to take a life insurance under Married Women Property Act? So, at the time of buying life insurance, a separate form must be signed by the proposer to cover it under Married Women Property Act. So, in nutshell, life insurance under MWPA Act is the easiest way to protect dependent family members.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Money, Money, Money. I'm Sumaira Abdi. One of the lesser known ways of safeguarding assets is the Married Women's Property Act, an act that was created to protect the properties owned by women from relatives, creditors, and in some cases, even from their own husbands. So what exactly is the Married Women's Property Act and why do you need it? That's the question we're asking this week. Jasleen Oberoi, a partner at Amarchand Mangaldas, and Gaurav Mashruwala, a certified financial planner, join in as our experts. Hi to both of you and thanks very much for joining in. Jasleen, my first question is to you. What exactly is the Married Women's Property Act and what are the kind of assets that can be covered under it?
So this is a very quaint little act, dates back to 1874. There's one particular section of the act, which is Section 6, which is of interest to most of us today. Section 6 essentially is really a carve-out section which deals with insurances. And under this section, if married man, and that would include a widowed or a divorced man as well, this has an insurance policy, he can avail of a right under Section 6 to make his wife or his children or any of them sole beneficiary of the benefits of his insurance. And once that is done, there's a ring of protection which comes around the benefits under the insurance, and in totally layman's terms, creditors cannot access it.
Fair enough. So Gaurav, like she said, that the main point being it's Section 6 that we need to concentrate on. The other thing being that it's safeguarding against creditors. So therefore, is it something which is applicable mostly to people who have family-run businesses, or could anyone use the benefits under the MWPA?
So from a financial planner's perspective, and when it comes to legal, I think she's more better equipped. From a financial planning perspective, it need not be that only if you're a business you need to do it. it. I mean, you should be doing it the moment the intentions are clear, and that is that you want your wife and your children to get benefit and nobody should have access to it. Now, it could be a businessman because then he is worried about creditors, but it could be other individuals as well who probably want to ensure that the assets move on to wife and children. There could be a situation where a particular religion or some particular act which says that upon death, the religion or other class 1 ad or anybody else has a right. Now here, I guess even that will not be kind of come in way. So anybody who is very clear that the benefit of this particular insurance policy should only go to my wife and children should take benefit under this act.
All right, so Jasleen, one of the key things being if I want to ring fence, say, the life insurance policy of the primary bread earner, in this case being the husband, how does one ensure it's done under this act?
So basically the act has like I said, section 6 essentially gives you the right that when you are getting an insurance policy, you can specifically mention in the policy, and most of these policies have that separate schedule. Many people don't really read their policy, so they're not aware of it. But there's a specific schedule which says that I am taking this policy under the section 6 of the Marriage Women's Act. And I would like my wife or my children or both of them to be beneficiaries. They automatically, when you do this policy becomes in the nature of a trust. There is a provision to appoint trustees. You can appoint third parties as trustees or even actually the beneficiaries. Most of these schedules, if you'll see, many of the life insurance policies would have it as part of the schedule. The life insurance policy itself will mention who, there'll be a place for you to mention who you want to be the beneficiary. You can mention your beneficiaries by name. It can be just your wife, it can be just your children, or it can be both of them. You don't have an obligation to give equal share to them. You can set out in the policy that I would like, my wife to have 25% share and my daughter to have 75% share, or whatever variation you want to do.
Okay, so from what you're saying, what I understand is that this must be done at the time of taking the policy. Can I not make changes later on? I mean, what option do I have if, say, my husband has already taken on his life insurance policy?
That's an interesting question, but I would think that the safest thing is to do that when you take out the policy, you make this provision.
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes practically, insurance companies don't allow. But in real practical situation, insurance companies do not allow any amendment once the policy is issued. So if you want to get it done, you should get it done at the time of policy coming into existence.
Okay, so how are you advising your clients then? I mean, if someone has already taken on a life insurance policy, should they take on another one just to get this addendum in it, and what do they do with their existing policy?
So if they really want this kind of benefit coming, and if they have not done earlier for whatever reason, either they were not aware or they were not married or they didn't have children, the only option now, at least practically, is that you need to take another policy. Now, what you do with existing policies, whether you want to continue that, you want to discontinue, it will also depend whether the policy is a kind of investment oriented and are there any accrued benefits in it. Those are separate things. But as it stands today, if I want to create that, if I want to have that endorsement, then it has to be a fresh policy. Existing policies, as of now, they are not allowing.
So let's work with the basic premise that I have this addendum of the MWPA Act worked in. Can I still make changes later on? Can I, for example, change the beneficiary? What if there's a divorce? And will the consent of the beneficiary be required for these changes?
No, you cannot change your beneficiary, so it's written in stone. Once you have done it, you've done it for life. And whether you get divorced later or things don't work out, you cannot change the beneficiaries. The legislative intent was always that the wife's rights are protected. So that's the primary intent here. Due to this, once you have a beneficiary, you cannot really change.
So here it is, Sumira, because once the endorsement has happened, it becomes a trust. Now, if it becomes a trust, it's no more my asset. If it's no more my asset, then I can't change anything.
All right, fair enough. But we need to take a break on that note. We'll